Well, today there were several themes that emerged from the discussion. Perhaps one way to frame them is to look at economic development, because really what's behind all this research is to try to increase economic activity in particular locations, especially locations which are not enjoying a high level of economic activity. And one way would be to look at what economists will say are the important factor in evaluating particular policy. And the most important one, perhaps, is efficiency. So the discussion was about past policies on the part of the European Union and whether they have succeeded in creating economic development in particular locations. And it seemed that there were several criticisms, including the fact that money was given to 271 places without any particular criteria, and so in some ways wasting money, which affects efficiency. So usually when we talk about economic development, efficiency becomes the most important factor, but I think that some people, including myself, have also tried to introduce the concept of equity. Or we can talk about sustainable development, in which you talk about the economy, the environment, but also the equity aspects. So what I hope our research will look at are ways in which you can marry or bring together both economic development, but also thinking about what that economic development will do to the well-being of the majority of the population. So that we might be witnessing a shift in thinking that will shift the emphasis from economic development to including also areas such as equitable development, which is another way to mention also sustainable development. Because I think we're witnessing a tremendous change in society, and I think the two most important elements of it are, number one, climate change. And climate change is related to an economy which is based on growth at all costs, without worrying very much about the externalities. In the case, in this particular time, is the externality of air pollution and CO2 and so on. So there is obviously a connection between economic growth and the necessity for high levels of energy production and consumption. So if we really think about that, we need to think perhaps about different ways of growing. Because now the economic growth model is led by international corporations, globalization, and these corporations are rootless, that is to say, they do not have a place in which they feel any allegiance to. They're ruthless. They will go wherever they can make a profit, and wherever they can make a quick profit. So I don't worry about whether I'm paying workers 50 cents an hour or I'm creating pollution, because all I care about is profit. And in the past, corporations, they weren't rooted in communities. They cared about the communities in which they found themselves. And they participated in the economy of that particular place. So now we have changed in that respect, also because corporations now, they are looking for a very quick return for their shareholders. So that changed the equation in terms of how we can proceed with this kind of approach to economic development, because the corporations have lost sight of their responsibility towards society. So it's the equitable aspects and the aspects of environmental protection are something that we need to look into. So that is, I think, what our research hopefully will look at the efficiency aspects, which are obviously essential, but also we look at the ramifications in terms of we might need to change the paradigm in which we look at economic development.